Joining us now is Bobby Mesmer, who is known now as I want to say a serial entrepreneur, but it's not. He is like the tycoon of business. He's like, no, tycoon of wonderment. What are you, Bobby? You are like the...
I don't know anymore.
No?
I get classified as so much as so many things. I don't know.
Well, you started out as a race car driver, right? Let's talk about that.
I did.
Okay.
I was racing. I mean, it kind of paralleled with my business start. So it was kind of like a thing that I did because I guess even though I was growing my business, I feel like I was still bored. And so I needed to occupy myself and continue to challenge myself. So racing was a piece of that challenge.
Well, I would think the challenge would be fitting in a Trans Am. Fitting in a race, fitting in a car. You're tall. I'm like this tiny little thing, right? So, you know.
I'm a 6'4", 290-pound guy. So
right.
yeah, I'm not the atypical race car driver. They're like 5'6" and like 130 pounds. And I feel like that's why racing was so successful for me, because I really pushed myself because everybody said no. They were like, no, you can't. And I had a lot of no's. I met with a lot of no's, but my ability to be just successful in it was what drove me, and I became successful.
You're like, watch me now.
Yeah, watch me go.
Me now.
Oh,
yeah.
Hold my beer.
Wow.
You know, that's what it becomes. Yeah.
So what was the first track that you were able to spin around?
I started out actually in New Jersey Motorsports Park, and that's kind of where everything kind of kicked off. And then from there, it just expanded and went Watkins Glen and Road America and Coda and Lime Rock and I mean basically every track in North America, right?
Right.
And it was so much fun. I mean, the camaraderie with the other racers and the teams and just the helping out. In the last couple of years, we owned our own prototype team. We did really, really well, and then I retired officially. What are we in 24 and 23?
Okay.
I officially retired. So
okay.
selling off all the team and all that now, and it's moving on to different things now.
Were you, I guess, surprised by meeting any of your heroes in racing? Was there anybody that all of a sudden you got to meet that you thought, wow, what a great conversation I just had with that person?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's you know what it is? It's real people. And that's what I like about it. Everybody gets starstruck about things, and I was never really a starstruck kind of person.
Right.
And especially racing against people that you see that are big time racers, you're like, but for me, I'm like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna kick your butt.
Right.
And did it work? No, of course not. But it was they're just real people. They were super nice, super helpful. They give pointers, and that's the best part about that community.
You've gone through some adversity, some challenges, right? Besides, the fact, like I said, can you fit in the car? But I was joking around. But in all seriousness, you've had some health issues. Your home got destroyed by a tornado. You were defrauded by a client. And it's not like you came from means, right? Everything you have, you just were grassroots yourself when you were little, right?
Well, my father owned his own business for about 40 years. So I learned the business side from him, from growing up in business. And he owned a very large company in southern New Jersey. And so I learned that business side, watching him do business growing up. He put me to work with him when I was 9 years old, and so weekends, summers, that's just what I did. So entrepreneurial mind, probably had a little bit. I think people are gifted with it to a certain extent, but I think you have to have somebody that you watch and how they do business, especially an integral person. So I was able to get that from my dad. This business I started literally from nothing. Started on my own, built it up to what it was and what it is, and just continue to progress. So, but yeah, the adversity that I faced through the growth of it, any business has its ups and downs. And if you're not almost bankrupt a couple times, you're not doing it right.
They said Walt Disney was bankrupt 11 times. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, I read that about him, and I was like, all right, well, that makes sense, Walks around with a mouse in his pocket, and then, it happens.
But that's the way you learn,
right?
You learn through adversity, and I tell people that, I like to talk about that a lot, and really it's about, when you started walking, right? This is my favorite thing. When you were a baby and you went from crawling to walking, how many times did you fall? Right, and you didn't learn to walk. You didn't just all of a sudden get up one day and you run in a marathon. You walked, you fell, you walked, you fell. But that's how you learn. It's the same thing in business, and everybody just misses that point. Everybody is too eye on the success, and I got to be perfect. Listen, I want to fail because then it's reflection, and I want to learn from that reflection of what I'm doing.
So there was one part in your journey where somebody completely defrauded you.
Yeah.
You just missed it, or what was the second you knew that somebody did something wrong to you? How did you find an email? What was it? Somebody called on the phone?
No, basically he called me and said, I'm not paying you. You know, I mean, it was that simple. I mean, it was right in the
Okay,
face.
you did all
know?
the work, you had
did all
put
the
in,
work,
right.
finished all the contracts, did everything I had to do, and just, I'm not paying you. Sue me.
Did that teach you not to take a deposit? Like how did that help you personally become more resourceful? Like what lesson did you learn that you say, not again, I won't do that again that way?
Biggest lesson, eggs and baskets.
Okay.
Eggs and baskets. I fell into the trap of trusting and putting the majority of my business into this one group.
Okay.
And that was a problem because they had too much control of my business, even though, you know, and when I say control, look, they have the power of the pen. So they do exactly what they did, you're out of business. So that's what I learned. So when we reorganized the business, this was what, 2015, we reorganized the business, restructured, looked at it, and then rebuilt it back up. No more eggs and baskets, for sure.
And talking about rebuilding it back up, it's RMG, and what is it that you do?
So we're the world's largest pre-engineered building erector, okay? So what are pre-engineered buildings? Everybody sees the Dollar Generals. It's like a joke, like there's a Dollar General in every corner now. It's Dollar Generals, you O'Reilly Auto Parts, Tractor Supply, big airplane hangars. So we've built ourselves to be the largest in the world at erecting those, and then now we're the only vertically integrated company in the United States where we are engineering our own buildings, fabricating them, and erecting them as one full, complete service.
It's one of the things you learned, right?
Yeah.
It's like concept to completion, like this is what we're going to do, right?
Yeah, diversification.
So when somebody needs one of those, so let's say I buy a franchise and I buy one of those, like a Dollar General or something like that. Then I call you and I say, Bobby, I need my kit.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Basically, yeah. You
Okay.
call me and you say, you call me and you say, hey, look, we're going to build $10 Generals. Can you give us the building and erect it for us? And we put that process in motion. Yeah.
And what did your health challenge? Because I think you had a stroke, right?
I did. I had a heart attack.
Oh, both, right?
So heart attack first.
I don't mean to laugh. Hold on, that
Stroke.
was a nervous giggle. I'm not laughing at you because it's kind of serious. But I'm like, okay, so here we go. You get defrauded. You have a heart attack and a stroke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Heart attack. The stroke was led by the heart attack because my heart was in AFib, pumped out all the blood clots, caused a stroke. Recovered from all that. I just had another stroke this past April.
Okay.
So I'm partially blind in my left eye because of it. So we're still working through that, trying to figure out what's going on there. As a matter of fact, in 2 weeks, I have a bunch of like MRIs, MRAs, and some brain scans and stuff like that to see what's going on.
Okay.
So I'm still in the middle of it. I'm
Right.
still in the middle of adversity. So I've faced this for years and my health issues, but I'm not letting it stop me. It actually empowers me,
Speaking about empowerment, you've got a wonderful team. What are some of the ways that you do empower your team to circle around you, to rally around you, to make your life thrive?
First and foremost, I think it's setting myself up as an example for them. They see me going through the adversity, but they see me still in it every day.
Yeah.
And I think that empowers them. I don't know how it doesn't, right? And so, they look. I hope that they look at me and say, if he's doing this, we can do this too. And then it's about pushing them. I tend to look at everybody and I look at what they're good at. And I set the bar really high for each person, and I say to them, and they get upset about it. Like when you set a bar high for an employee, they're like, I can't reach that. And look, I set it there because I believe that you can. And once they understand the concept that I believe in them that much, and if I'm believing in them more than they are, they want to then achieve that goal. They want to get to that bar, and then when they do, the sense of pride that they have, the sense of accomplishment. And then it's a matter of, okay, I moved the bar up. Now they're like, oh, I'm getting that.
Right.
It changes the whole
Right.
dynamic of people. And so I hope that through that concept of what I'm doing with them, of setting that bar high and really believing in them and truly believing in them. I think all my employees understand that I truly do believe in you and what you're doing. And that just changes the whole nature of them.
Even around here too, I feel like that is so helpful. And they help me equally. Right? Like I'll say, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm going to go for this or that. And they'll be like, oh yeah, go ahead, send it out. In fact, the whole team, we're all going to France in 2026
Wow.
through Colette Tours or whatever. I've never been to France. It's one of the things that was on my personal bucket list, right? So they're like, well, yeah, why don't you? And I was like, oh yeah. It's just almost like sometimes, even for us, to write ourselves a permission slip to succeed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I, Donna Drake, am giving myself permission to do this, right? So Bobby, you're currently giving yourself permission to do something cool too, and that's because you're going to be like coaching other people and doing more public speaking. Are you excited? Are you jazzed up about that?
I am very much so. I really feel good about helping people. Like I really deep down inside, and I really just love the accomplishment that comes out when you can really share your successes and your failures with people. And so for me to help, I just helped a company in Middle Tennessee. I tell that story, here and there. I helped them earlier in the year, and the accomplishment when they came back to me in July and were like, hey, we were almost closing our doors, and now we're $1.5 million on the plus side. Like that's great, and that's what I want. I want people to be able, if I can help just even one person through business success, then I've succeeded. I just can't keep doing it for myself and take my own success and hold it within and not share it with the world. What does that do? So for me to give back and in that way to help entrepreneurs who really want to try, help them succeed and help them get to an end goal, what's better than that?
I just find you fascinating. I really do. It's so exciting to know you, to meet you, to learn more about your journey. And one of the things, I had mentioned Trans Am before, right? Why was that car special to you? Tell me about that.
Because
the relationship between you and, a special vehicle.
It was different.
Okay.
It was different. I come from the sports car world. I raced a lot of different sports cars, Porsches and Audis and prototypes. And that car was a stock car to be made to race in the road racing. And so very different style driving, more complicated because it doesn't really hug the track like other cars do. So it was a very, it gave a lot of, it was work.
Okay.
Let me say that. It was work.
So you like the challenge.
I
You're
like
a
the
person
challenge.
that likes challenges.
Yeah, absolutely,
Excellent.
1000%.
Where will we be seeing you next? Are you going to be traveling? What will you be doing? Where can we find you?
First of all, you can find me all over social media. We're building that presence, now. So come and follow, share. We're doing a bunch of informative videos, just videos of my day in life and what that looks like. You can find me. I'm also doing some work with Dave Meltzer.
Great.
So we're actually going to start. We just talked to somebody. I'm going to start writing a book. So we'll be putting a book out.
Oh yeah, I can already. We just talked about 4 chapters, right?
Right,
Or 5
exactly.
chapters right there. Bobby, it writes itself almost.
I know.
Right?
I live 10 lives already. So yeah. So you can, please come and reach out to me if you need help in your business. I'm happy to, talk about what that looks like to consult with me, and you can find me pretty much anywhere.
Excellent. I really enjoyed this visit with you. Thank you
so
very
much.
much for being on.
Thank you for having me. This is
happy
fantastic.
journeys to you. This is awesome. This is I feel like I met a new friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There you go, Bobby Mesmer. You could find him on social media, follow him. He's got a lot of information that he wants to share, and I can't wait to read his book. Be well.